Good morning, everyone. Welcome on into North Dakota today. Well, as we know, January is a great time for folks to reset for the new year, and many already making resolutions around healthy behaviors like dry January. Joining us live this morning, we have Chief Medical Officer Dr. Abby Miller of United Healthcare to share strategies for a successful dry January. Good morning, Dr. Miller.
Good morning, Ashlyn. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Yes, it's wonderful to have you in and to hear really a medical standpoint for, tips to success for dry January. Many of us here talking about implementing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to be able to tell you a little bit about sort of the history of dry January, why you should do it, the things that just 30 days without alcohol will help with your health, and then also tips for how to be successful at doing it.
Okay, love this. Yes, let's get into the history because I guess I don't really remember it besides maybe just the past recent 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dry January as a campaign, as an event, actually started in the UK back in 2012. But you're right. I feel like I mostly started to hear about it right around COVID and even right after COVID. For a lot of people, we recognize that our alcohol consumption went up during COVID because we really didn't have the usual social outlets. And so most of us were staying at home. And so, alcohol consumption did go up when we were staying at home. And unfortunately, what we're seeing is even though the world has, gone back to normal and those restrictions have been lifted, the alcohol behavior, the drinking behavior still remains elevated. And so I think because of that, a lot of people have sort of taken this dry January as a resolution to improve their health and decrease the amount of alcohol that they drink.
Yeah, and we're hearing more and more, as you just mentioned. So really digging into how this is going to positively impact your health. We're talking about 30 consecutive days without alcohol. What does that do to our bodies?
Yeah, so it's really interesting to think about. A lot of people sort of question, gosh, does 30 days make a difference? But it absolutely does. So one of the things that we recognize that decreasing alcohol is going to do is it's going to lower your blood pressure. It's going to help to stabilize your blood sugar. So certainly important for people who are diabetic or pre-diabetic, but even those of us who aren't diabetic, it can actually decrease the risk of developing diabetes. It lowers your cholesterol, staying away from alcohol. It also can lower the risk of certain cancers. Other things, alcohol really does negatively affect sleep. And so you're going to notice when you go for 30 days without alcohol, you're going to sleep better. That's going to lead to increased energy and even an improved mood. Those are all just really great benefits to try dry January. Just that 30 days does make a difference.
Yeah, that's incredible, and that covers a wide variety of things that people might not even be thinking of. I love that it will help with your sleep. That's pretty important. So what are some of your tips for a successful month dry January, dry from alcohol?
Yeah. So to be successful, I think number one is find a friend, find somebody who's going to do it with you. And I will say 35% of Americans have made a resolution to do this. And so chances are you already know somebody who's doing it. So go ahead and reach out to your friends, to your family, have somebody do it with you. Teamwork really helps. Another way to make sure that you're successful is plan ahead. When you're going to be going to, maybe a party at somebody's house. Plan ahead and bring something fun to drink that doesn't have alcohol in it. I will say that one of the things I'm recognizing is lots of bars and restaurants, breweries, and liquor stores all have really great non-alcoholic options. So lots of fun mocktails that you can do. Those are going to be things that you can do to help to be successful. Another thing to help you be successful is there's an app now for dry January. So that's one of the things you can find online. You can go download that app. It's going to give you some tips for being successful. It's
How
also
exciting.
going to help you track calories and track how much money you save, because that's one of the things that we recognize is that those of us, we can input, say we're somebody who maybe drinks a couple cocktails on the weekend. We can input how much we usually drink, and the app will track as we're staying dry throughout the month of January. It'll track how much money we saved, how many calories we've saved. That's another, common reason that people choose to do dry January is because they're resetting for health. And so, we've all recognized that perhaps during the month of December and month of November, we perhaps put on a little bit of weight because of the holidays. So this is another good way to just kind of help, jumpstart that weight loss.
Yeah, great point. This could be beneficial in a wide variety of areas in your life. I love that. So before we let you go, let's say someone isn't entirely ready to give up alcohol completely. What is your advice or ways to simply just start implementing drinking less?
Yeah, so great point. So sometimes we hear dry January. I've even heard the term damp January, which exactly is that. Drinking less, being more mindful and paying attention to why you're drinking and when you're drinking, and making a point to say, maybe I don't need to have that, second glass of wine, or I don't need to have that second cocktail, and paying attention to why you're drinking. For a lot of folks, that alone, just being mindful about it, is enough to reduce your alcohol consumption.
Dr. Miller, thank you so much for joining us with all of this information this morning. Incredibly valuable as we kick off the new year. Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
All right, everybody, stick around. Plenty more coming up right here on North Dakota Today.